Yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to my podcast. Yo, I am your gracious host, Jupiter 9. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Welcome to my show. If you haven't did so yet, guys, you know what to do. Please subscribe to the channel. And please, share my content with everybody that you know. You know what I'm saying? If you really appreciate my content, please share it with everybody, please. Thank you so much for your support and listen to your guy. But welcome to the show, guys. Welcome. Guys, I hope everybody out there is being safe. Things are getting wild and crazy, man. It's turning into the wild west out there, guys. And, with the situations that's going on in America, rent, everything is going up, man. Everything is going up but the pay. And people are mentally starting to lose it. You know what I'm saying? Down, in New York City, downstate New York. Shout out to New York City, man. You know what I'm saying? Things are getting wild in New York City, man. The immigrants and, just coming in and debo their way into New York City and Chicago. And some news today, man. There was a shooting in a New York City subway in Brooklyn. And we're going to be talking about that, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking about the shooting in Brooklyn, man. And I'm hoping that everybody is okay that was on the subway. But check it out, yo. Let's get into it, man. We're going to read a little bit what happened in Brooklyn today. Okay, let's see. The Brooklyn District Attorney said Friday he will not be filing any criminal charges right now against the shooter in Thursday's subway shooting due to self-defense. So the people on the subway train in New York City and Brooklyn apprehended a guy who was on the train with a weapon. I'm just learning this story just now, just like everybody else. So let's continue on. The catastrophic scene happened right during the evening rush and unfolded on video posted across social media. On Friday, the NYPD responded to the terror witness on board. So let's continue on. Here we go. The news briefing that took place in the afternoon made clear what the investigation had concluded at the moment, that the passengers of the train had to act and disarm an attacker with a gun, including the man who police say shot the attacker with it. So not only did they take his gun, but they ended up shooting this guy. And we're going to play a news video that's going to break it down even more. Like I said, I hope everybody's okay that's on this train. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, we living in some dangerous times, guys. So everybody, I mean, not just in New York City, man, but everybody, it is dangerous everywhere. I don't care if you think you live in a safe neighborhood. Things are getting real, man. And everybody, please be safe. Women, please be aware of your surroundings. Men too, families too, but definitely women, because a lot of times women got this false notion that nothing can happen to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case, man. And if things get real to the point to where, the economy collapse and all this type of stuff, women are going to be the first one that are attacked, because physically they're the weakest. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that women are weak all the way around the board, but physically they're going to be the first ones to, get their purse snatched, to become hostages. You know what I'm saying? Women and children. So everybody, women, children, please be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? Because things are getting real out here. I hope you guys know that. You know what I'm saying? America's not safe like it used to be. Well, America really never been safe, but it's really getting crazy out here. And I don't care what state you in. I don't care what neighborhood you in. It's not safe nowhere. Period. So please, 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 please have your antennas up, be on guard, you know what I mean, and be on point just in case something pops off. But let's listen to this video, the news, and find out what happened in New York City and Brooklyn, man. And shout out to Brooklyn.
Right now, NYPD officials are giving an update on the subway shooting in Brooklyn. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, members of the media. By now, just a few moments ago, all of you should have received a video from DCPI. And what this video shows is that yesterday, on March 14th, 10 to 15 minutes prior to the terrible event that happened here at Hoyt and Skimmerhorn, a male entered the subway station on Nostrand Avenue. He did not pay his fare. He gets onto a Manhattan-bound A train, and he eventually gets into a dispute with another male. He eventually pulls a firearm out during that dispute, and ultimately he's disarmed and shot with his own gun. The reason why we wanted to bring this additional information to you, and again, this is not even a 24-hour-old incident, and evidence is still unfolding, but we wanted to really underscore the importance of when we keep our subway system safe. Not only does it require for members of the police department to be down there and members of the community to also help us out, because it was incredible what people from the community did yesterday. People who tried to intervene, people who actually recorded the incident, which gave us additional evidence that we needed to piece together questions that we had. But it's also important that the NYPD enforces quality of life. It's important that we enforce theft of service and people who are not paying the fare. Oftentimes we see people enter to the subway station looking to cause harm, and they never pay the fare. So this is why we stress to our officers, it's important to address theft of service, but at the same time, I want to stress that we never, ever diminish our officers' authority to show discretion. If it's a young child who doesn't have the money to pay fare, if it's a working parent, someone looking for a job who doesn't have the money to pay fare, our officers have that discretion to speak to the people, understand what happened, record their name, but do not issue them a fine. So we will continue to be in our subways. We will continue to address theft of services, people not paying at the turnstile. But I want New Yorkers to rest assured that we will use our discretion and be fair to people as well. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And you know what? Commissioner Daughtry, our Commissioner of Operations, has been enforcing, he's been out there leading the charge, enforcing theft of services, quality of life conditions down in the subway system. And I'll just let him speak a little bit about what he's been doing down there and why he's been doing it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Department Badgery. Just like the Chief said, sometimes people ask why would we do such a big operation for somebody not paying the $2.90 fare? It's not fair for the average New Yorker, the regular day New Yorker, to go to work every day, swipe their MetroCard, pay their fare. But like the Chief said, we are seeing a small group of people, a small group of individuals that we catch during these fare evasion operations that are recidivists, that have warrants, that have guns, that have knives, and they don't pay their fare. So it's important for us to keep doing these quality of life operations. Like I have previously said before, small things as walking through an exit gate or emergency gate, hopping over the turnstile, lead to big things. We, like the Chief Madry said, we want our officers to show discretion. We want them to show empathy. Every interaction matters when encountering a person that's not paying their fare. I personally observe officers from the transit district and the TRT teams while watching the operation. One juvenile hopped the gate. He was playing a basketball game, and he also went to study at the library. Those are the people that we show empathy to. People that carry guns, knives, that have warrants after we run their name for hopping the turnstile, guess what? They don't get no empathy, they get no compassion from us. They go to jail. So, Police Commissioner Caban, Chief Manager, has also tasked me to look for new technology that we can implement down here in the transit system, which I'm currently doing. I'm searching the globe trying to find new technology that we can use down here to help keep New Yorkers safe. We all heard about what happened yesterday, but nobody's talking about the millions and thousands of people that got to their destination safe. So we let this one incident, and I know that it's going to leave a traumatic experience on the people that were affected by this, but also there was people that got to their destination safely. So millions of people that got to their destination safely, and like the chief said, the 84 precinct officers and the transit response team were doing a Tom's check, right, where the officer parks their car, they walk downstairs, and they go check on the platform. As the officer hit that first platform, he heard the shot. They immediately took out their weapons, and as people were running up the stairs, they were running towards danger. So these officers should be commended for what they did, because they didn't know what they were getting into. They heard 4 gunshots and immediately thought the worst thing was going to happen, and they went towards danger. So I applaud these officers.
All right, so we'll take just a couple questions. As you know, this is still an active investigation. So we'll take a couple questions, and then we'll transition to, then we will transition to St. Patrick's Day security. Carlos?
Do we have Papa? 10-10 wins.
Chief or Commissioner, involved when you stop somebody that involved in the search, what's the procedure?
So when the officers engage an individual that does hop the turnstile, they ask them for their identification, and they do a warrant check to see if the individual is a recidivist, where he cannot get a transit recidivist, where he cannot get a tab summons, he has to get a criminal summons, or if he has a warrant. If the officer does find that person that has a warrant, immediately they place under arrest, search incidental to lawful arrest, they do recover weapons, knives, drugs, etc.
Well, Andrew says, let me see. Chief, is there by camera video? We're talking about the 84 cops and the transit cops responding so quickly and things are going crazy. So their body cam video would most likely show this. Is it possible to release some of that body cam video to give us a sense of what they went through?
Well, yeah, I can't release that body on camera just yet. Remember, this incident's not even 24 hours old. This is still an active investigation by the Kings County District Attorney's Office, along with members from the 84th Precinct Detective Squad, Transit Detective Squad. But what we're doing here, and I know we're kind of piecemealing information out, but we just want to make sure we're updating New Yorkers and updating the media as much as we can. So we wanted to provide this additional information that we got. But as the investigation unfolds, I'm sure we'll be releasing more video. We'll be doing further updates, and ultimately our great district attorney here in Kings County will make a decision on what's going to happen as far as charges.
Looking at that video, it seems like this person was perhaps disturbed. It seems as though, it's the type of person we've all seen on the subway before. First of all, are you identifying him, and does he have any priors?
He is identified. I'm not going to speak to priors at the moment because the detectives are still investigating, so I don't want to speak to that. I don't know what's sealed, what's open for discussion, but it's part of the active investigation. I saw that video. I think I had the same thoughts as you. It seems like the male was making inferences like he was a police officer as he was speaking to the person he was having a dispute with. And again, it's just something that is very alarming. We know that we have people in the subway that suffer from mental illness, and this is why it's important that the police department do play a role along with clinicians and people who are really qualified to deal with this, because you saw what the results were yesterday.
All right, we're going to take 2 or 3 more before we move on to security. Jay Dow, 611. Hi, Chief.
Jay, what's up?
This incident produced a lot of strong reactions among the public. Does the fact that he was able to enter the system with a gun bolster the case for the introduction of metal detectors, or intense screening to prevent weapons from being brought into the system?
I think it does support that. I'm not saying it personally, but when you lay out the evidence and the facts, someone walked into a train station with a gun, and then everyone here saw the video. You saw a fairly crowded A-train car where people were laying on top of each other, scared because someone drew a gun at that point. So, I'm not saying that I'm for or against, but I think it just does support that.
We're going to go to Sam Beekman.
Did the 36-year-old jump the turnstile to get into the system? And how many guns have been confiscated this year in the settlement system?
He didn't jump the turnstile. He walked through the gate. He walked through the gate to get in, and I'll get back to you with how many guns. You do have it?
Yeah,
17 guns. I was mixing up this year and last year. We took a lot of guns last year. This year, it is 17 firearms removed from doing operations just like this, addressing quality of life infractions, and people not paying the fare.
I think this is the last question on this topic. I just want to thank the New Yorkers that flooded our tip lines with sending us videos, sending us tips that were on the train or may have heard what happened. I just want to say thank you. And if you think you may have seen your video, the same video that you may have taken on the train, please send that in. We encourage you New Yorkers to send in all tips and all videos so we can help put this case together.
Okay, guys. So I'm back, man, and I'm gonna give my take on this situation, man. You know what I'm saying? And first up, I want to say I'm glad everybody's safe. This is where cell phones and the internet saved the guy from doing some serious time in jail, because if it wasn't for those people who had cell phones and recorded the whole thing, I don't believe this would be a self-defense situation. They would be probably trying to charge this guy with murder. You know what I'm saying? You know how the system goes when it comes to the everyday average citizen. It's a different playing field for us when it comes to everybody else, like politicians and cops and stuff like that. So, also too, I want to say that I hate how the media and the police forces and politicians try to vilify firearms. You know what I'm saying? We all know they try to take the firearms out of the people's hands, you know what I'm saying, here in America, which won't happen. You know what I mean? That America is rooted on being gun owners, you know what I'm saying? That's number one. It won't happen. They can try as hard as they can to vilify firearms. Now, I'm just going to say this. Firearms is not the problem. With all this crime and all these things going on in America, it's not the firearms. It's the people who own the firearms that are not being responsible, number one. And the people who are doing these things, you know what I'm saying, are lawbreakers. And I hate how the media vilifies just firearms and try to put everybody in the same box. And you can't put everybody in the same box when it comes to firearms. You got people who don't follow the law and have a firearm illegally. And you got people who do follow the law, citizens who do follow the law, and are firearm owners who have permits and are legally have a right to own firearms, but they tried to put everything in one box, and I just hate it. I own firearms. I have a permit. You know what I'm saying? Here in Tennessee, you don't even need a permit. You got constitutional carry in here in Tennessee. So that's one of the beautiful things about living in the South, man. A lot of southern states, they have constitutional carry. You don't even need a permit. You know what I mean? So they are about that firearm, being a fire gun, being a firearm owner. You know what I'm saying? What else was I gonna say about this situation, man? Coming from a upstate New Yorker myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I used to visit New York City on the regular. I have family in New York City, you know what I'm saying? Different parts of New York City. So, you know, I got quite a few family members in New York City, you know what I'm saying? So I used to visit New York City back in the 90s a lot, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, the crime back then in the 90s, it was bad, but it was different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was just different. Like, now, me being an upstate New Yorker, and, you know, I've seen some wild stuff in Buffalo, too. So, you know, you know, I've seen some wild stuff, man. And, you know, it's reminiscent of the things I've seen back home. So, you know, New York City is starting to turn into the Wild Wild West, man. Straight up and down. If you're a New Yorker and you live in New York City, I don't know why you want to still continue to live in New York City at this point. Why would you want to still live there? I don't understand for the life of me why people in the 5 boroughs want to still live in New York City, where the price of things are astronomical. Rent is like $5,000 a month for a little studio. The crime is through the roof right now in New York City. It's not safe to visit New York City right now. Just like it's not safe to visit California. The mayor of California told people, do not come to California right now. Why? Because the gangs in California are robbing everybody. They don't care who you are. They're so bold. The gangs are so bold in California when it comes to robbing people. And if you flashy and all that, and they know you got some bread, and you sitting down to eat in a restaurant, they would walk up to you, sit down at your table and say, take that off. We need that. And rob you right then and there with know what I'm saying? It's getting real out here, people. I don't know if you know it. Again, you guys got to start being aware, especially women and children. You guys got to be aware of your surroundings, man. It's not a game. It's not a game out here. It's not a game. It's not. My people in New York City, you know what I'm saying? Because me personally, we all New Yorkers, man. We have this division thing in the state of New York. And in the state of New York is really the only state I see where it's a division. Like, you upstate, you downstate, you central New York. And it's just like when you go to other states, everybody is just one thing. If you're from Florida, you know what I'm saying? You're Floridians. You're all Floridians. You know what I mean? Only New York State has this division. And I don't see it that way. So to my fellow New Yorkers in New York City, man, get out while you can. Get the hell out while you can. And I don't want to hear this excuse that you can't afford it. When you're paying $5,000 rent and your milk is $20, you can afford to live somewhere else. I don't want to hear that excuse, man. People are afraid of change. People are afraid of change. You know what I'm saying? People are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. And that's a lot of New Yorkers are that way. You know what I'm saying? Being a New Yorker, you have this pride thing of like, I can't leave because, I'm a New Yorker. I can handle anything. You know what I'm saying? But it gets to a certain point in your life to where, you thinking that way and not removing yourself from a bad situation that's getting worse. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? I never thought that way. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing was, you know, I wanted to move somewhere to where, you know, I will have a chance to grow as an adult, grow financially and spiritually, and find the right person for me to want to leave Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? And I did that, you know. But it comes to a point in time if you a New Yorker from New York City, downstate New York, you gotta say one day, look around what's going on and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to save up much as I can. I'm out of here, man. I'm going to tell you, New Yorkers, man. I'm going to tell you right now. New Yorkers, New York City, my peoples. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get your ass to the South, where it's way better, you don't got to deal with crime. You don't got to deal with getting robbed. I'm talking from experience, man. I'm talking from, you know, Buffalo, man. Yeah, Buffalo's smaller, but Buffalo's somewhat similar to what's going on in New York City. We got similarities in Buffalo and New York City. Not everything, of course not. New York City is way bigger. It's way more people, but you know what I mean? The attitudes of people and all that is very similar. You're paying high taxes. Your rent is astronomical. Everything is going up. So if inflation is going up and you living in New York City at this point with all this crime going on, why do you want to be there? What's stopping you from moving, New Yorkers? What's stopping you? Because let me tell you something. You move to the South, all your expenses are cut in half. No state tax here. I don't pay no state taxes. You don't have car inspections here. You know what I'm saying? How you gotta have, what is it called? Back home, you gotta have that your car inspected every year. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that here. It's a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? The cost of living is cheaper. Rent is cheaper. Know what I mean? Food is cheaper. Even with inflation, it's still cheaper. My rent right now with me and my queen right now is like $700, something like that. Know what I'm saying? The average rent price in Tennessee, what is it? $800, something like that. That's going up too, but still, even with the fluctuations of inflation, it still don't match New York City. New York City and California are like the two of the most expensive places to live. And I don't know for the life of me why anybody want to live in California, and the gang culture and what you got to deal with there, and being robbed too as well. Like I said, I don't know too much about California. I mean, I'm from, but, I can relate to New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been there a bunch of times. You know what I mean? And Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? Even though we smaller, we still New Yorkers, and we got a lot of similarities. A little different, but a lot of similarities when it comes to, like, you know what I mean, how you gotta move and how you gotta, you know what I'm saying, know about your surroundings. You know what I mean? Buffalo's the same thing. High crime. Things are getting expensive. It used to be at one point in time, New Yorkers from New York City could move to upstate New York to, you know what I mean? Because upstate New York is cheaper to live. Rent is cheaper. No, that's not the case no more. Rent is going up in upstate New York too. Food prices and all that going up too. Crime is going up too. You know what I'm saying? But, kudos to those people, the citizens, man, who stepped in. This is where, there's a good and bad with the internet and the phones. Everybody be on the phones. This is where it saved the guy from doing life in prison, because I truly believe if it wasn't for people having phones to be able to record this situation, this wouldn't be a self-defense, man. But kudos to those people, man, saving everybody's life, man. Those are the true heroes, man. You know what I mean? Those are the true heroes that came in, stepped in, and saved everybody's life, man. You know what I mean? And the sad thing about this situation is that the guy who lost his life, man, lost his life for not paying a train toll. Sad, man. It's sad. You know what I mean? It's sad. And one more thing I want to say about the police in New York City, man. There's more things that need to be fixed than people skipping and not paying train tolls. I get what, they're saying, but there's way more things that need to be fixed in New York City than, somebody not paying train tolls, man. In my honest, humble opinion, man. You know what I mean? But, again, I'm glad everybody is safe, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. Things are getting real, people. You guys better wake up. America is not the same old America, man. Things are different, man. Things are different. But, that's my take in this podcast episode. If you haven't did so yet, please subscribe to the channel and share this with everybody that you know, man. But, that's my take. I am your gracious host, Jupiter 9, and I just want to say peace and love to everybody. Take care. 1.